Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. I have no clue what podcast, what number podcast, what episode this is.
I think we should just stop trying to count.
Yeah, so we're just going to stop
We're just
going
to stop counting altogether and just be like, hey, yo, what's up? Welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to talk about what?
Oh, yes. So today we're discussing
Vampirism.
Vampirism.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to ask the fundamental question of whether vampires are real.
Oh, I already kind of know the answer to this one, but I think everybody who would be listening would, care to hear thoughts and theories and ideals and maybe hear about the beginning of vampirism and where it has led to us today.
So, yeah, I have one page up now.
So do I. I have one.
I'm not sure which
here.
one you're looking at, but I'm looking at something from theconversation.com. It states that 80 years before the publication of Dracula, it says the concept developed and appears in folklore surrounding vampire phenomena, yada yada yada. I do know that I've seen this documentary, I believe it was on the History Channel, where they would bury people and they would put a bag on their head, and then I guess that the corpse would spit up blood, and the superstitious people of the time believed that the corpses were rising from the grave and sucking people's blood at night.
Huh. See, what I'm reading here is that a lot of people from thousands of years back apparently would believe that the living would come back as the dead. And why are we? Where are you playing this?
Please.
I'm trying to figure out where this is playing so I can shut it up because I'm in the middle of talking here and my computer just starts rambling. Oh, History Channel. Okay. Yeah, no. Okay, we're gonna get to the History Channel page later. Hopefully it'll shut up now.
Pick any of that up because YouTube, it is bullshit content ID.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping it didn't pick anything up either, but I was also yelling over it too, so maybe we're safe.
Maybe.
Anyways, where was I? Let's see here.
So while you
here we go.
While you look for that, I discovered. Now this is a couple of years old. Oh well. November 2019, ABC News says that a vampire cult leader was convicted of murdering victims in Lake County. So yes, I do know that vampire cults exist, and there are certain subsets of the goth subculture where they dress as vampires and they believe that they're vampires. Rather they're into cannibalism, such as drinking blood or whatnot. I'm not sure about that.
I'm pretty sure a lot of them are into drinking blood, but it does say here...
what do you have for us,
Let's see, the science behind the myth. It does state that the fear from long ago that the dead would harm the living was only intensified when bodies were exhumed and appeared to have blood coming from their mouths, without any understanding of how the body decomposes and what's known as purge blood, which apparently, I guess, when you die, your body ejects your fluids.
Yeah, I stated that earlier.
Yeah. It's easy to see how people would assume that their loved ones had come back from the dead and were drinking people's bloods, apparently, because, back then, if you saw a black cat, you probably thought there was a witch nearby. You were absolutely stupid back then.
I also read this other thing about the origin of vampires may have came from the concept of fallen angels in the Bible. So vampires are fallen angels that have, the angels that were kicked out along with Satan when Satan fell from heaven.
That is a very interesting theory.
And Dracula, we know Dracula is son of the dragon, the firstborn of Satan in the I guess that's how the story goes. I'm not 100% sure.
Hmm.
I mean, because, different authors have different...
They have different theories about Dracula and all that other stuff. There's too many books and, manuscripts, supposedly, to really sit there and delve deep into it, because you've got hundreds of thousands of people who have about the same idea, but they go a different direction. Like, some believe that, Dracula ended up at once, ruling a set area or whatever, and he would start turning random people that he claimed were worthy, but they never were pure blood like him. And then, supposedly Dracula murdered a lot of fucking other vampires and all this other shit. Like, there was actually a manuscript that I read online about this, and it started going off on the deep end. And I'm just like, okay, what were you smoking at this time?
There was also Vladimir the Impaler.
Oh yeah, down here it explains something about Vladimir when I get to this interesting little thing I just read. It does say here that, let's see, many early skeletons from the medieval times were found with bricks or rocks filled inside their mouths so that they would be prevented from rising from the dead. So apparently it was so they were so terrified of them coming back that they would actually shove things inside their mouth and to stop them from actually moving.
So, speaking of vampires, any of you out there that are into Skyrim and enjoy modding Skyrim, if you haven't done so already, go to www.nexus.com/skyrim/mods/105265 and download my mod, Satanic Vampires, that I created about a year or so ago. You will enjoy it. Maybe not. The mod is extremely fucking difficult. Night Stalker was supposed to review it on his gaming channel if he ever gets that going.
Oh, I will. And the only issue is right now I'm using a lot of nude mods on Skyrim, so it'd be a little difficult to, actually show that on YouTube.
Oh, yes.
Because remember, I do have a very sexy, about 5'9" vampire chick with big tits and a nice ass. Completely naked, running around killing people. So, I'd have to change some aspects of that game and get rid of those mods if I were to start a new game.
I would love for a bigger YouTuber, like MXR or Bro Jewel or someone to review my Satanic Vampires mod. But
I can imagine a lot of them would be cussing up a storm.
Because I need a big YouTuber, a big Skyrim modder to review my mod so that I can get lots of downloads on it so that I can make money from Nexus.com.
I mean, you gotta make money somewhere, right?
So, okay, getting back on topic.
Vlad the Impaler. It says here, people have thought that Bram Stoker had named Count Dracula after Vlad Dracula, also known as the Impaler. I guess he was born in Transylvania, Romania, ruled between 1456 to 1462. It goes off on a few things about how cruel he was and how he earned the nickname because of his favorite ways to kill his enemies, basically to impale them on a wooden stake. Which, okay, that does kind of explain the whole, you have to stab the vampire with the wooden cross in the heart ordeal. So,
fear of the crucifixion, or fear of the crucifix, comes from Spanish Inquisition from 1478 to 1832. Vampires were reportedly burned at the stake. Some of these accused vampires were innocent sufferers of porphyria. I don't know how to pronounce that. And they feared the Christian faith and Christian symbols. Okay, so yeah.
Okay, that explains, why the cross is their weakness.
So yeah,
But it does state here it does actually ask the question, what about real vampires? And there is a nice little, probably about two sentences right here worth of explaining, basically that there are more than 5,000 people out there who actually do consume human and animal blood. It's there's a condition of craving blood for energy, also known as hematomia. It is real. The only difference is that these folks drink from willing donors. They don't just snag somebody off the street and drink them. So basically like a thrall, if you will.
Okay.
They don't want to be confused with the scary portrayals of vampires, but these are real vampires. They're often just average people with unusual taste buds.
The Atlantis theory says that the Atlanteans and their quest for prolonged life have conducted biological and genetic experiments which end result was a new human that could live for centuries but had to drink the blood of humans in order to survive. Vampires have escaped the Great Flood as the Atlanteans, not satisfied with the results, had buried them in an underground crypt. That's interesting. So vampires in Atlantis, the mythological advanced city
that we supposedly have proof actually existed, but we don't have very much footage of said place.
So several diseases, I can't pronounce the names of them. I think it's xeroderma, meaning pigmented or dry skin, is a rare, often fatal genetic disorder that leaves its victims acutely vulnerable to skin and eye cancers. If they are even briefly exposed to the sun or any ultraviolet rays, the body fails to produce one of the enzymes necessary to make something. Well, I kind of have that. It's not that severe, but it's pretty fucking bad. I can't even be outside in the sun for 15 fucking minutes.
Neither can I. I'll walk out the door thinking, okay, I'm gonna go check the mail. I open up the door and it's like blinding, and I feel like I'm gonna just burn right then and there.
I think it's that great Florida weather we have.
It's gotta be. As we've stated before, it could be 75 degrees outside, but humidity's 120.
Yep.
And once that humidity hits you, it's like you died. You're fried. You can feel your skin wanting to melt off, I swear to God. It's horrible.
And I remember when I had to ride the bus before I had gotten my driver's license and before I'd gotten a car, I would go down to the bus and wait, 15, 20 minutes.
Sometimes an hour. I remember that.
And then I'd be severely fucking sunburnt.
Or, you'd be dehydrated. You'd have no energy whatsoever. It's like the sun just zaps you immediately. That was always my problem, too. And the bus stops around here, they don't have any shade. So they don't have any of those overhangs anymore, so you're just sitting on a hard plastic chair in the sun right next to, the roadway, so heat on top of heat.
So, about the question whether vampires are real, I say yes, they are real because I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire. I don't drink blood or anything, but, I'm allergic to the sun, apparently.
I know I'm allergic to the sun, so I must be as well. And I do kind of enjoy the taste of blood once in a while.
And I seem to only want to go out at night. And, let's not get into the discussion of enjoying the taste of blood because, some of our listeners may not understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to understand. And I don't know, it just has a weird taste to it, and I kind of like it.
Well, certain types of blood, and, YouTube may demonetize the video if we start talking about that.
Nah, I've talked about worse. But anyways, next subject.
Okay, so, what do you have for us, Night Stalker?
I have Top 10 conspiracy theories about Russia and the U.S.
Are we really going to fucking do conspiracy theories?
I mean, I don't know. It was the first thing that popped up into my head when you asked me a second ago.
Well, I mean, then again, I mean,
there's also Russian urban legends if you want to talk about that.
Well, I mean, I do believe that conspiracy theories kind of, fall under the category of horror content.
They really do, because, you're talking about aliens, and there's also, the ghost conspiracies. The list goes miles and miles along, It could be considered horror if you put it in the right aspect.
Well, sure, let's see what we can do here. Well, now, hopefully YouTube doesn't fucking demonetize this video.
I hope not. So we're going to try to dumb it down so the bot doesn't understand us. Anyways, number 1, Vladimir Putin as an affiliate of God.
Vladimir Putin is an affiliate of God.
Yes.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I could totally see that Vladimir Putin may actually be Jesus Christ.
I mean, they do say right here that the president's lineage goes directly back to David and Solomon.
Oh, Solomon. So he's fucking... There
and
you
they
go,
believe
folks.
that Jesus Christ, who was never crucified but fled to Europe, spawning France's Merovingian dynasty.
Yeah,
so basically, they think that, Jesus decided to go have a baby somewhere, and Putin is, the aftermath.
So before you go any further into this Vladimir Putin,
I'm about done
Solomon,
with that, because this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, because I'm starting to see this taking a.
This looks like it's going to take an interesting turn.
It seems like it's going to take a turn that we don't want to host on this channel, because it seems like it's going to start talking about some anti-Semitic shit.
Apparently, they think he's the reincarnation of the Apostle Paul.
Yep.
Yep. This is. I'm going to the next one. Next one.
What's the next one?
Putin is a tool of the Jewish conspiracy. We're not going there. We're changing that. Putin and his KGB cronies destroyed the Soviet Union. Okay, this might be interesting here now that we're away from the anti-Semitic stuff. Because, anybody who might be of those lineages, I'm sorry if laughing at that might have offended you, but I thought that was funny because that's just stupid.
And that's part of the... See, that's also the thing with a lot of those old Illuminati and New World Order conspiracy theories, too, is like almost every video was some anti-Semitic, shit.
Yeah, but, you can't really do that anymore. It's probably why, YouTube decided to delete those channels, because they were all anti-Semitic, and we're now in a day and age where you're not even allowed to partially joke about it.
Well, what do we have?
Okay, let's see. With Putin and his KGB cronies destroying the Soviet Union, apparently around the 1980s, the Secret Service got tired of managing party assets, so they decided to appropriate them to the end. Orchestrated perestroika, snapped up some lucrative assets and top government jobs, ensuring chaos of the 1990s. Tossed a little gasoline on the fire in 2000 when he famously joked at a meeting with top brass of KGB's successor, mission accomplished, blah, blah, blah. I guess he was ascribing the downfall of the Soviet Empire with its non-competitive economy, independence of failing oil prices. There's a 30-year-long plot by a handful of spies. It's, I guess, disrespectful to the rest of the country. I kind of skimmed through a lot of it because it looked like it was just a little too in-depth for even me. Like, I don't remember hearing about any of this stuff, but yet it's here.
I have a theory that I heard about. It's a new theory. So, just before Donald Trump had left office, he had started, actually I think that President Obama started it, and then Donald Trump finished it, and Space Task Force. Space Task Force, which is a military space branch that is supposed to fight in space. Now, who are they going to be fighting in space? Why do we need a space task force?
They're going after Jesus.
Is are we gonna fight Russia or the Chinese in space now?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they finally found the Borg and now they want to go after them. I don't know.
The Borg? Did they found the Borg?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, aliens. Maybe they found where God Himself is. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. This is the United States here. We are. We're not the brightest when it comes to who runs the United States. We have some pretty idiotic people running this country.
So, before you start with our next topic, it's come to my attention that certain YouTubers are upset with things that we may have said on our live stream or something.
Oh, it's not just the live stream. It's also my nice little video, apparently. There's some backlash, but there's also some good that has come about it.
Well, certain YouTubers with a guilty conscience didn't like some of the things that we had to say.
I know which one you're talking about.
And, it was brought to my attention, and, it was something through the grapevine, so.
Well, I mean, if he's got a guilty conscience over what he's done, then he can't be mad at anybody for speaking the truth. He has to just be mad at himself. He needs to look in the mirror for once and realize that he's the one to blame. And if he wants to actually change things, he's got to fix his attitude. And he's got to start saying he's sorry where sorry is due. If he doesn't, then guess what? Nothing's going to change.
This reminds me of, another incident with a friend that I had where she had betrayed me, and I'd forgiven her multiple times, but then she says that she still wants to be friends and yada yada, but then she puts no effort into gaining my trust back. So, very, very similar thing,
Well, see, at least, she claims that she's sorry, whether she, makes the effort or not. She still at least went one step further than this other YouTuber who is just pissed off in the corner somewhere crying, "Mommy, help." When he could just pick up the phone because he's got both our numbers, call us up, say he's sorry, meet us somewhere, and talk things over. Instead, he wants to just be huffy and puffy in his room playing Minecraft.
So, next topic.
I wanted to go with urban legends that are totally true.
Urban legends.
Oh, yeah. Everybody loves a good urban legend, especially when they're true and a little freaky. Like this one, sure. The story of Charles No Face. Apparently, there was a guy named Ray Robinson.
This sounds like a creepypasta.
No, I guess not, because it was in the early 1900s. There's a picture of this guy's face and everything. He was electrocuted by a trolley wire, which resulted in disfiguration. And I guess, what happened was most of his facial features were melted away from it.
Oh.
So they called him Charlie No Face.
Charlie No Face.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Charlie No Face, I apparently had this dream about Charlie Brown. And the reason why Charlie Brown has no friends is because he murdered them. And in the TV show is when you see all the other kids in the TV show, it's a hallucination that he's having. I have some strange dreams. Anyway, next legend.
This one seems interesting, and I think everybody would be interested in this one. Number 5, which Charlie No Face was number 1 on this list. The government stealing dead children for science. apparently, in the flurry of testing after World War II, U.S. has dropped the first atomic bomb. Scientists wanted to see what the effects are of the radiation on humans.
Well, technically, I think that may be true.
Well, I mean, these are urban legends that are totally true.
Well, it's either an urban legend or it's a conspiracy theory, or it may be true. I'm not 100% sure. But I have read some shit about abortions. Aborted babies are used for stem cell research.
Yeah, they did. They were doing that for a while, and then I guess stem cell research became illegal, so they stopped doing that. Yeah,
because they said it was unethical or something.
So they're talking about unethical. There's a long list to that. I'm not going to go there. I could go on probably about an hour-long rant with how unethical the government is and unethical the humans themselves are and how they have no room to talk.
Well, I mean, the government apparently decides what is ethical and what isn't. And
so using children in sweatshops are ethical, but using something that was either aborted or ended up dying before birth is unethical to make science and make things better for us. But it's okay to throw little Lingling that's 5 years old in a sweatshop and make you Nike sneakers.
Yes, for 5 cents.
Yes, for 5 cents an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ethical.
But you see, I guess that the reason why they said that it was unethical is because the aborted fetuses could not consent to the testing and the research, and also I guess that the mother that had the child aborted also did not consent to the research. So,
okay, I mean, she didn't want the child anyway, so what is there to really consent about? Why would you throw away something that would actually benefit humans? Because stem cell research is used for a lot of things. It's used for medicine. It's used for, it's got a lot of healing agents in it, and I'm pretty sure there's other things that stem cell research does help that I don't even know about or that I've forgotten about. Supposedly the list is, long on what benefits stem cell research has.
Or it could just have something to do with Bible thumpers not wanting, science to advance any more than it already has, because, the more and more we advance in science, the more it invalidates their beliefs.
And that is true. I mean, there were a lot of churches, I think it was, 10 or 15 years ago, that were trying to ban science because they believed it was unethical and it proved nothing, but yet science has done nothing but, it's helped doctors learn how to do open heart surgery to help a patient. It's helped, there's also some, as much as I hate to say it, there may be some medications out there that could actually help you that aren't too dangerous, but I'm not saying that, all medicines are good or anything, but the anesthetics to put you under.
But
that's all science crap that they're wanting to ban. It took science to figure out how to make the computers that we're working on, the TVs that people watch on a daily basis. They're basically telling them to go fuck themselves.
And speaking of computers, computers are a type of I forgot what it is. It's it's kind of like it's a form of black magic. Where scrying, where you look into a black mirror. Because, this is what we're doing. We're looking into a black mirror. Because you turn the screen off. You see
just a reflection.
Exactly.
But you turn on the computer, or you turn on your screen if you happen to have a screen to it.
And then you have access to the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
And,
all at the click of a mouse.
Yeah, so, and scrying was similar to that. A lot of people don't know that, a lot of science came from these theories that may or may not have actually been real back then. So the concept of the internet had probably been around for a very long, long time. It's just no one knew how they could make it happen. Okay, so we got kind of off topic, so
yeah, we
back
did.
on topic.
Apparently, the radiation on the tests was known as Project Sunshine, but the files that they found were reported as deceased children. Specifically, stillborn babies whose parents were not notified about the test subjects.
We go off topic quite a lot on this podcast,
it happens.
Because we have no fucking structure.
I think that's the best. I think they like off-the-wall content. I know I like off-the-wall content because it doesn't sound as real if you have, a script in front of you as it would be just, hey, let's just pick a couple of topics and ramble. Whatever comes to mind.
I wish that I was a professional bullshitter like David Icke, and then I could just write fucking 500 books. I mean, David Icke is professional bullshitter. He could just sit there and write book after book after book after book of the same topic. And, it's not even a topic that he even came up on himself. He basically ripped someone else off. What else do you have?
This one was interesting. Apparently, on number 6, there was a corpse rotting a hotel's water supply.
Okay.
In Los Angeles, in a hotel in 2013, apparently guests were getting horrific smells whenever they would turn on their sinks and showers. And management went into the water tank to find a deceased body of a 21-year-old.
And it was, more than likely, it was, the mafia.
It was probably that. I mean, how do you really get yourself into a water tank of a hotel in the roof?
It's because we put them in there.
Oh yeah, we had to put good old Elisa Lam in there. She found out secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of things happen in California. I mean, there's a murder like every fucking 2 seconds in California.
That is true. California is probably New York has probably got to be one of the worst places for crime.
New York is.
I've been told by people who live there that you walk down the street and you look in an alleyway, there's most likely somebody getting their ass beat and mugged or shot.
There's a lot of bad shit that happens in New York.
Oh yeah, but what do you expect? There's how many people are cramped up in New York City back to back and paying $1,500 a month for a tiny 1-bedroom apartment that's a rundown shithole?
It is true.
I mean, I'd be pissed off too. Anyways, a murderer entering apartments through a medicine cabinet.
Through a fucking medicine cabinet. Is he Candyman?
I don't know.
I mean, Jesus
okay,
Christ.
You did mention Candyman, and it does include a scene in which, the character did get murdered through the medicine cabinet. Apparently, this was actually a legitimate structural flaw in some apartment complexes. The medicine cabinets in the adjoining apartments, I guess in Chicago, were connected by a flimsy partition of some sort, and a murderer actually found a way through by going into by, I guess, breaking into one house, but he would open up the medicine cabinet and climb through and murder the person next door.
It's very interesting.
It is. It's kind of like, why wouldn't you just break into the house and murder the people in that apartment? No, you got to take one step further and go into the next apartment.
It sounds...
That's dedication right there, my brother.
It sounds exactly like Candyman.
It does. And I think that's where the idea came from was...
Yes, because Candyman, didn't he travel through the walls?
Yeah, he traveled through a medicine cabinet, I believe through a wall. He kind of just appeared through a window of some sort temporarily to freak one of the ladies out. And then, he just, I don't know, like, then again, Candyman being, what would you say? He's like a demon, spectral entity, something.
I'm not 100% sure what Candyman is.
I mean, the only thing I really understood was the lore and the fact that if you say his name 3 times, he'd come after you. But apparently he doesn't just come after you, he starts murdering people you know. Which kind of doesn't make sense to the lore, but apparently, he fell in love. He was a slave, fell in love with the owner's daughter or something, and
yes.
And they decided to flat out murder him in front of the entire town and let him rot with honey on his face and let the bees at him. And I guess he got the name from some kid who stuck something to his face and called him Candyman, and that's where the lore came from.
All right, so what do you got for us now?
This one, I think, should be the final one, but this one intrigued me the most, and I figured I would save this for the last. Apparently, in Las Vegas, they've got their own underground city. I guess it was less of a conspiracy, but more of an effort for tourists. But there is there's some kind of an appeal for it. But apparently, what they did was they had there a bunch of homeless people settled up camp in the underground flood channels of Las Vegas and made their own city. So I guess maybe they put some cardboard boxes up there. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what the flood channels look like in Las Vegas, but I would assume that they wouldn't be like massive, but maybe they've got like little. I guess they got like their blankets and everything set up, but I guess they have some kind of. I don't know. Maybe they've got some kind of electricity running through there somehow. I don't know. I mean,
so yes, you remember, you remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Who doesn't?
That
was probably one of the best movies of the 90s.
So the Turtles had found this abandoned underground subway station or something where the city had forgotten to turn the power or some shit off.
Oh yeah, that was
or they couldn't turn the power.
I believe that was after the first movie, so that was the second one where they find a new home and they find the old railroad system.
Yes. That
the city forgot all about.
And they never turned the power off or anything under it. Well, I've heard stories of sewer people, or I guess that's what they're called, mole people or something, living in these underground subway stations, full electricity and everything.
Hey, I mean, if you got free electricity, if you're homeless or whatever,
and they come out and they steal food from the streets or whatever, or they have access to,
I guess, some kind of like, I would assume similar to how it is in like Fallout, where you've got the travelers with all the food and everything, and not like caravans, but maybe like carrying boxes or whatever of food, and they just randomly disappear into the underground caverns.
Yes. So
maybe they do trade-offs, like hey, I found this on the road. Here's a watch. Give me your your box of food or whatever.
But supposedly this is just a myth, because according to the United States government and the statistics for homeless people, or whatever the fuck they are, they claim that there are no people living underground.
Oh, we all know that they don't want to mention anything, because then you'll have those human rights activists, saying that they need more homes for the homeless, so the government's probably covering it up as a, oh, there's nothing there. Don't go there.
Yes, and I knew this. I knew this one kid, and his father had worked for the city or something, and he would have to go down in the sewers. And his father, I don't know if his father was bullshitting or what, but he said that that the sewer, like, yes, it's mainly to drain the water or whatever, But also, he said that there are hidden tunnels and stuff in the sewer that lead to very sophisticated bunkers and stuff underground. I just wonder if this guy was telling the truth.
I don't know. I mean, people like to spew off the mouth a lot, or maybe he was on drugs.
I think that he was just saying it to scare us because we were kids. Or he was just, a bullshitter because, a lot of people, if they know you don't know, and they know that there's no way that you can find out, they'll just make shit up. So you have one more.
Yeah, I just mentioned this to you because I'm skimming through this list, and you even said this was kind of sick and very interesting. Apparently there was a man in the 1880s, I guess he was an outlaw and decided to, liked thieving horses. Like, he liked to legitimately go up and steal horses from people. And a physician was assigned to study his brain after they had hanged him, and decided to use his skin for a lot of weird things, including making himself a new pair of shoes. So this guy was not only killed for his crimes, but he was basically used for science, and the physician decided to just, hey, I need a new pair of shoes, let's use this guy's skin.
So they used him as shoes?
Yes. They actually skinned his body and made it into a pair of shoes.
Well, yes, it seems believable. Leather is made out of, the hide of cows, so...
I guess they're on display at a county museum in Montana.
That's wonderful.
Oh, yeah, so we get to see what some crazy physician decided to do with some guy's body parts. How nice.
Okay, so that's about it for tonight's podcast. Sorry if it wasn't that interesting. We're very tired.
This was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing, and, we both haven't really had a whole lot of sleep the last couple of days, but we wanted to shoot something out for you guys, because we know you guys liked this kind of stuff.
And we will try to do some more narrations for our channel, and we're also trying to figure out some other stuff. I don't know, things are just really, really, really fucking difficult at the moment.
It's getting to the point where I don't even want to deal with it. I've thought about stopping for a few days and just letting myself reboot, but I know if I do, I'm screwing myself horribly.
Night Stalker is at some point is supposed to start another channel, a gaming channel. Hopefully it's more successful than his current channel, because these narration channels, it's like we can't get our foot in the door, so to speak, because the room is already crowded and the door has been locked and we're not welcome.
That, and it seems that even though someone did mention that maybe when they started things, it was a little more popular back then for horror narrators, but the thing also is even to this day, I watched it. A narrator stopped for an entire month, gained 15,000 subscribers in that month. You want to know what I would get if I missed a month at this point, or at any point in my life? My numbers would go down to nothing, and I'd have to fight my way back up to where I'm at now, and it's already bad enough that I take a day off. It takes me 3 days to recover from that day.
Yep, and
if I were to take a month off, I'd be screwing myself. I might as well just quit at that point.
It's not as simple as, if you don't enjoy it, then don't do it,
It's the only thing we have right now. I started doing it because I was tired of working day-to-day jobs in a Dollar General where I was being yelled at for something that wasn't my fault. And I just got tired of dealing with customer service and all the BS that comes along with it, and there was nothing else, so I started this, wanting a better life. And yeah, I got away from it after about 6 or 7 months, but it's just, it looked like it was going nothing but uphill and everything was fine, then the uphill was cut short and now I'm going down.
Yep, and it's not about rather we enjoy doing the narrations or not, because sometimes I do enjoy them, but it's also when I look at my analytics and I notice that my numbers are down, my views are down, my income is down, whatever, and it doesn't make sense. So I push myself so hard, and then YouTube doesn't push my videos. I work myself to fucking death only for YouTube to be like, no, we're sorry.
Yeah, and like me, I've got 22,000 subscribers, but I only get 8,000 views at most. And that's at most on a video. Which makes me believe that YouTube isn't telling all of my subscribers that I have posted a video. Like, I have a couple of times where people have even said, I'm not getting any of your notifications, but I have you subscribed and I have the bell rang. Or sometimes, like one lady earlier was saying, oh, I'm so glad that you're back. I haven't gotten a notification in 3 days. Like, I've been posting every day. Why haven't you gotten my notification?
And it's not, I don't want to just switch up on everyone, because I'm trying to give everyone fair warning that the content on my channel may change over time, because I'm not going to be stuck doing the same thing over and over and over, and I realize that I'm probably going to lose subscribers, especially the subs that came here, because they wanted to hear stories, and they may not, want to hear whatever else I'm planning on doing, but I'm not going to stay stuck in a box. I mean, PewDiePie.
That's why I don't want to switch up my channel to gaming, because I know that all my subscribers know that I'm a narration channel. So I am fearful of starting a gaming channel, because you know how many gaming channels are out there and how rare it's probably going to be for anyone to actually find me for the first couple of years?
See, but that's why I say that, you shouldn't start another channel. You should let people know that you're going to be changing your content, because PewDiePie started off, what the fuck did he start off doing? Let's play videos? Then next thing you know, he's doing podcast or whatever the fuck he does now.
I don't know what he does now. I rarely ever catch a video, because I know he does gaming still, but a lot of times he'll sit there and talk, or he'll make fun of things on the internet.
Yes, exactly. So it's not strictly gaming anymore. It's more of a random channel where he just
kind of like what Markiplier does, where
Markiplier even started off doing something totally different.
Oh, he started off with straight up games. I went all the way through and found his first video ever. It was horrible. And now what he's doing is, not only is he doing gaming, but he's also doing, he's also reading off memes and things off of, Twitter and everything. But he's also finding random things to do. Like, he decided to buy every product of a certain canned product and started trying every single one of them, and sat there and just ripped on every single fucking product.
So, yes, and I've heard that, I've heard it from certain people that, oh, you can't just change your channel. I don't see why not, when every other YouTuber does it.
Mm-hmm.
And it will possibly alienate some of my original subscribers that only came here for a certain topic. And that's just a risk that we're going to have to take. Because,
Sadly, yes, because, it's either too saturated, or the fact that all the other bigger narrators are all taking this, giant throne of I'm better than you, when they all use a voice changer. How can you be better than anybody if you don't have the balls to get up on that microphone and use your real voice? Instead of sounding like I do, they want to sit here and sound just like this while they are talking to their subscribers. Or they sit there and talk like this. And it's like, why? Are you scared that your voice sounds like Axl Rose is trying to sing on stage? Like, wow, sweet child of mine.
So, yeah, there's going to be some content change. And it's just a risk that we're going to have to take. Some people will like it, some people won't. And that's just how it's going to be. Just like I started doing this podcast on this channel. And, I mean, I noticed that it didn't get as much views as my normal content does.
Which is going to happen because they're so used to you being a narrator, not a podcaster. Because they know you as a specific type of YouTuber, and now you're trying to change up your content. That's why it's not going anywhere, why it's not getting as many views now, because they're seeing it as, oh, well, it's not his normal shit.
Well, with that said, we're going to close this episode, so enjoy.